They put me back in that dungeon to starve. I hope you will all do your very best to get me out, because I'm in a very...
We will, Andrew. Love you.
The chances of release today are slim to none.
Elon Musk has now publicly shown support for Andrew Tate following Tate's arrest, and their exchange is definitely worth breaking down. It gives a pretty clear picture of the kind of high-profile backing Tate still has in his corner while facing serious allegations and legal scrutiny. Even while being held, Tate has apparently continued getting posts onto X through his team. One of his first messages basically claimed that UK authorities can do whatever they want, but they still can't silence him online. That was followed by the argument Tate has been pushing hard lately. He suggested that if he truly were the kind of sexual predator authorities have accused him of being, then British police wouldn't be pursuing him internationally.
Netanyahu's admission, wouldn't Elon Musk be calling for Tate's deportation too? Why hasn't Elon Musk called for Andrew Tate's deportation? Apparently he's Muslim, he's an American citizen. Elon Musk wants to deport me for what? Because I said, inshallah, people become Muslim? Tate has apparently charges of having indecent images of a child. No one calls for his deportation from the right wing. Want to know why? Because like, oh, he's one of us, he's right wing. You stupid white nationalist. He literally moved to Romania to commit crimes and get away with it, allegedly. He moved to a white European country to go and pimp out white women, to get white guys and Indians to jerk off to them because they make the best prostitutes for their camgirl website. You think he's one of you? He took advantage of your women, contributed directly to the decline of your birth rate, and you still chimp out for him because he says some very obvious rhetoric that makes you think he's based. Well, because he said women suck. This is the current state of American right wing. They claim to be conservative, they claim to want American values, and they called to deport me because of free speech. I have a real American values. I'm the one who actually believes in the founding fathers. I believe in the Constitution. We should have free speech. We should question authority. All you frauds in the right wing, who are chipping out about censorship, you all want me deported from my own country because words hurt your feelings?
Tate then compared his situation with controversies involving grooming gangs, Prince Andrew, certain BBC presenters, and Jeffrey Epstein associate Lord Mandelson. It's a bold comparison, but it remains Tate's own argument, not proof that the allegations or cases are actually equivalent. Tate's argument is that if those accusations were really true, authorities would be shielding him instead. But the context here is serious and can't be brushed aside. This latest round reportedly includes allegations involving rape, human trafficking, and sexual exploitation, along with additional charges connected to images involving children. These are allegations and charges, not proof of guilt, and they'll ultimately have to be tested through the legal process. Then Elon Musk jumped into the conversation.
Then they have a prison overcrowding situation in the UK, so that quite literally releasing convicted pedophiles and putting people in jail for Facebook posts. There's an actual thing happening in Britain.
That is so wild.
Like you're like,
it's so wild that people can't see it.
What the fuck, is going on?
And what's insane to me
Make
is
oil fiction again.
Yeah.
But
it's all being encouraged by the left.
Someone replied to Tate's post and claimed this was Tate's strongest argument, pointing to what they described as the UK protecting certain presenters, royals, and politically connected figures.
We need to also assert who we are as a country, because Musk, again, has been interfering in our politics in the last few days, trying to whip up division. That is not who we are in Britain.
We know the UK Parliament wanted to speak to Elon Musk about the role that Twitter or X played in the horrible race riots over the summer. Musk, here's a point for you, Andrew. Musk said, "How dare you? We're going to call you to the US Congress." And the very next day, Senator Mike Lee, a senior Republican senator from Utah, said, "I'm going to call British MPs to testify in front of me if they go after Musk." He's basically got the American government, or at least the Republican part of it, dancing to his...
Musk gave a short response agreeing with that point. Tate's wider claim is that powerful people in the UK get protected while he gets treated by a totally different standard. But Sneeko came at Musk from another angle, arguing that Musk shouldn't be backing Tate at all. Instead, Sneeko says Musk should support Tate being sent back to the UK, especially while British authorities are actively seeking his extradition. Musk's view of the UK right now clearly isn't very positive, and he hasn't exactly kept that quiet.
I was the only Prime Minister who allowed fracking. Sadly, I wasn't in office long enough to actually make it happen. We want Elon and his nerd army of muskrats examining the British deep state.
Well, I think there are other things that United the Kingdom marks that made that more controversial. Well, like Elon Musk calling for the violent overthrow of our government.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't agree with any violence.
I mean, that's bad, right? I mean,
Yeah, definitely bad. I don't agree. Maybe I might have missed that, but I don't agree with any violence.
well, he's saying that we need to overthrow our government, and the only way we can do that, by definition, is violent.
Naughty Elon. He shouldn't have said that. I don't
It's a bit
agree
more
with
than
violence at
naughty,
all.
isn't it? Because he's so influential. It's a bit more than...
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I'm not an Elonist team.
He's even discussed it on Joe Rogan's podcast, raising serious concerns about people being jailed over things they've posted online. And here's where it gets more complicated. Musk isn't just some random guy giving his take. He owns X, one of the biggest social media platforms around, so when he speaks about free speech and UK authorities, his words naturally carry a whole different level of weight.
Anyone who's complaining about Elon's pay package is a moron, because they're sitting there crying their eyes out that he's getting paid $1 trillion, which is truly remarkable, not understanding that the amount he is getting paid is directly correlated to the value he has added to the world. He is literally populating other planets, putting rockets in space. He's the only reason China doesn't have a complete monopoly over electric vehicles. He's building tunnels under cities. You could not do any of these things. You could not even begin to attempt any of these things. Gee, you good? The fact that he is doing them is truly remarkable. He deserves his money. The people crying their eyes out saying, $1 trillion, do you have any idea how many people that could feed on food stamps? People on food stamps don't add value to anything. People on food stamps are takers. He is a maker. The fact that you cannot connect the amount he's getting paid to the amount of value he has added to the world shows you are one of life's losers. When you tell me Elon's getting $1 trillion, I don't sit and say, oh my God, that could feed a whole bunch of people who don't work. Or, oh my God, that's so much money, we could use it for something else. I think, wow, he's done some amazing things to earn that money. That is the difference between a winner and a loser. Winners see big paychecks and say, wow, they've done amazing things. Losers are jealous, and they're bitter, and they're resentful, and they want to take it off of him and pretend he doesn't deserve it for some reason, even though he clearly does. Congratulations to Elon. And this $1 trillion pay package is just the beginning. He's going to get more and more. How are you not going to end up with $1 trillion paydays when you own fucking Mars? So the future belongs to the creators. The future belongs to the makers. Money is unlimited. If you work your ass off, if you add value to the world, money will flow to you. And if you sit there and cry your eyes out that the winners are getting paid and all the money should be taken off of them and given to people who don't do any work at all, you are.
People in the UK have faced jail sentences over content posted on social media, including Facebook and X, though the exact circumstances and offenses vary from case to case. During that Joe Rogan conversation, Musk specifically brought up Facebook. And from a street-smart business angle that tracks, he's making his broader free speech argument without putting his own platform directly in the firing line.
Nobody can buy me. Nobody can bully me. Nobody can tell me what to say. You want some evidence of that? Elon Musk. All right, Elon Musk, who was holding out offers potentially of very large sums of money, not for me, but for the party. But he asked me to do a series of things, to say a series of things.
What happened with Elon, by the way? Why did you fall out?
Because he wanted me to come out publicly and support Tommy Robinson. And I said, I can't do that. I said, he wanted me to come out and talk about deportations of illegals before we had a plan.
Musk has also had his share of friction with Trump, but there's no question he carries massive influence and is among the wealthiest people on the planet. UK public figures have previously talked tough about possible legal consequences involving Musk as well. Musk didn't exactly back down. He fired right back, essentially suggesting that the tables could turn and that his critics might eventually be the ones facing justice instead.
You were banned on all platforms, but recently you got unbanned on Twitter.
Yep.
Was that because of Elon Musk?
Looks like it. The big G, big E.
Are you guys friends?
I guess so. He must like me. Hey, Elon. Hey, go to the moon.
Have you ever spoke with Elon Musk?
Not yet.
Okay.
Would you like to?
Sure. I mean, I know that in the timeline on my trajectory, with my time on the planet, the chance of me speaking to Elon is 100%.
That's the kind of influence Musk is operating with. Well-known politicians and even former prime ministers have publicly raised questions about Musk potentially facing scrutiny or legal consequences. But despite all that big talk and political heat, none of those public warnings have resulted in the kind of consequences they were suggesting. At least not so far. Musk is obviously juggling a ridiculous amount, but across several different posts, he's still found time to show support for Tate, and Tate has definitely returned the favor. Their public back and forth hasn't exactly been one-sided.
What I would like to say, my final point, I would like to say, I often get asked by people who follow me, they say, who do you think who controls the world? Who do you think the Matrix is? And I use the Matrix as a very simple way to explain that they purport a false version of reality that everyone buys into to keep your mind occupied so they can extract your body heat from you for the soulless machines, which are essentially the globalists we're talking about. And I try and say that I still believe that we run the world. There's a lot more of us than them. We still control the world. It's just down to what we will accept and what will allow them to do to us. And that's why bravery is so essential and so important. And I know I can come across as brash.
Now, to be clear about my own position, if Tate is genuinely guilty of these UK...
When Musk caught major backlash over reports and debates surrounding his enormous wealth, especially arguments about wealth inequality, Tate went on a full public rant defending him. And right now, with Tate facing serious legal trouble, having powerful voices in his corner could matter, but whether that online support turns into anything concrete is a completely different story. There's history here too. When major advertisers pulled away from X over concerns about the platform's direction, Tate publicly offered to put up a massive $1 million every month to help cover the financial hit. Realistically, Musk already has plenty of his own political friction in the UK, so his influence here may have limits. Outside of his connection with Nigel Farage, who reportedly claimed Musk had tried to influence him financially, it's not clear that Musk has the specific relationships needed to sway what happens in Tate's legal situation. And regardless of all the online noise, Tate could eventually be sent to the UK if the extradition process results in that outcome. The real question is when and what happens legally before then. But that Farage situation adds another wild layer to the story, because the reported dispute raised questions about whether Musk was trying to use his financial power to gain political leverage. It'll definitely be worth watching how this plays out. Musk has publicly supported Tate and has repeatedly criticized parts of the UK justice system, so he's exactly the kind of powerful figure who could keep backing Tate in public. But Musk's political pull in America appears less straightforward after his relationship with Trump cooled, which raises a bigger question. Beyond posting on X, what practical influence could he actually bring to Tate's legal situation? What's much clearer is how important X has been to Tate's continued online relevance.
Come across as brash with my message. But
you're not.
When I'm telling 16-year-olds, when I'm telling 16-year-olds to go and get rich and buy a fast car and train hard and go to the gym, etc., because these young men are far less likely to blindly comply, and it's extremely important that they don't psyop the next generation of young masculine youth.
And that's why the system was scared of you, Andrew, because you were doing an extreme version of it to shock them out of it, to show them how to have a destiny, how to have desire, how to want to be into the future. And then that's the same thing in a different way.
You're right. We still control the world, and it's down to what we will accept, and it's going to take bravery and love. You need to love the people around you and love the human race and love the place you're from. And I just want to wrap up by saying that I would never kill myself. And if they put me back in that dungeon to starve, I hope you will all do your very best to get me out, because I'm in a very...
We will, Andrew. Love you.
Under Musk, the platform restored accounts belonging to controversial figures who had previously been removed, including Tate and Tommy Robinson. That gave them direct access to huge audiences again. So while saying Musk single-handedly kept Tate relevant would be difficult to prove, his changes at X undeniably gave Tate a massive platform to rebuild his reach and keep himself at the center of online controversy. Musk has even joined X Spaces featuring Tate, where he's publicly agreed with some of Tate's points during those conversations. And that's what makes these interactions hit differently. This isn't some unknown account jumping into the chat. It's one of the richest and most influential people on the planet choosing to enter those discussions himself. Now, to make my position crystal clear, if Tate is ultimately found guilty of these UK charges, then he deserves a serious prison sentence, full stop. But his legal problems aren't the only reason his support has taken a major hit. He's lost a huge amount of goodwill through his own actions, repeatedly shifting his stated positions and facing criticism over whether his behavior matched the religious values he publicly claimed to follow. That has also damaged some of the brotherhood and support he once built within parts of the Muslim community. Then you've got the crypto controversy, where plenty of critics have accused Tate-linked projects or promotions of being scams, claims that should be treated as allegations rather than established fact. Maybe legal costs are putting serious pressure on his finances. Maybe there's more to it. But either way, the public mood has shifted hard, and as older clips keep resurfacing, even more former supporters appear to be reconsidering exactly who they were backing. Musk was actually present in that live conversation, which makes this whole situation even more interesting. There was talk about action being taken, but despite those claims, nothing concrete appeared to follow. Right now, Tate is reportedly being held in the United States while waiting to see what happens next in his legal case. At the same time, there's a narrative circulating online that Tate is politically aligned with both Trump and Musk, with Musk having publicly responded positively to Tate on multiple occasions.
Written, restoring underlying values, and I'll be aiming to be prime minister to fix the mess. And I want to make something clear. I am being absolutely serious. For everybody who is mocking this attempt for me to become the prime minister, please understand, I'm a wealthy person with 50 years of life left. The chance of me being prime minister, considering I was the most Googled man alive, is actually very high. This is not a game. And if you think back to the legacy of Andrew Tate since when you first heard of me, I want you to actually ask yourself a question. Have I ever lost?
Meanwhile, Tate has also been trying to insert himself into conversations around UK politics while facing efforts by British authorities to prosecute or extradite him. And during that political push, at first glance, it might look like Tate was just joking around. The whole Brew v Party idea sounds pretty wild, and even the name leans heavily into British slang. But underneath that, Tate appears to have spent much of the past year, while dealing with this legal storm, trying to build political connections wherever possible. That's also why his reported arrest in America may have caught him off guard. He'd been traveling, meeting certain influential people, and building relationships that may have made him believe powerful connections could help if things got serious. But when the moment came, nobody publicly stepped in and made the problem disappear, not one person. And that's the bigger reality here.
We, of course, are going to fight extradition, so the court will set a hearing during which we will argue the merits of our position. We'll be looking at the fourth prong of the test, which is the probable cause prong. We believe that we have strong grounds, and we will make that argument to the court at the appropriate time. I don't see any set of circumstances where the judge will want to do that today. If our clients happen to get released today, then God bless America, but I think that the chances of release today are slim to none. And that does not have anything to do with the merits of the case. That is just what happens typically in these situations. The court needs time to adjust and understand what's going on. We're going to need to examine the paperwork that comes over from the United Kingdom. We'll make our arguments in a few weeks, and then we'll let the chips fall where they may. We think these charges are salacious and defamatory charges. Andrew and Tristan Tate have been accused of the most heinous acts that two men could be accused of for the past several years, but in multiple courts of competent jurisdictions across the world. In the United States, Romania, they have consistently been found innocent.
Political connections don't automatically erase criminal allegations or legal proceedings. Even Trump has appeared in court repeatedly while facing his own cases. If Tate is prosecuted, the evidence and arguments will have to be tested through the legal system regardless of who he knows. And this is what Tate's lawyer, who is currently fighting against his extradition, said about the situation in another interview. And one major reason people are clowning Tate so heavily this time is what they see as a complete switch-up. He recently put out multiple videos practically daring authorities to extradite him, saying, "Come and get me. I want this. I'm not guilty of anything." But now, his legal team is actively fighting to keep him in America. That contrast is exactly why critics are going in on him. Whether he ultimately ends up in the UK depends on the extradition process and other legal proceedings, so it's not something anyone can treat as guaranteed yet. The dispute over access to the alleged victims' identities also remains part of the wider legal battle. Meanwhile, Tate's team could lean heavily on the fact that proceedings in Romania are still unresolved, arguing that those ongoing matters should delay any extradition to the UK. This time, authorities have reportedly caught up with Tate in America, and he knows the stakes are getting serious. If extradition is approved, this wouldn't mean casually boarding a plane, landing in Britain, and strolling straight into a courtroom. He could potentially be remanded in custody while the UK case moves toward trial, depending on what the courts decide about bail and detention, and that process can take time. Complex criminal cases can face months of preparation, hearings, legal challenges, and delays. Tate's lawyers could fight every available point and try to slow the process down, but pre-trial detention is legally different from serving a punishment after conviction.
England, a failing nation, has its members of parliament talking about how important it is they extradite me from Hong Kong. They need to extradite me because 15 years ago, supposedly I hit some girl. They found some girl from 15 years ago on a council estate saying I hit her. I'm sure she doesn't do cocaine every weekend. This very credible victim. Absolute clown show, complete garbage, complete joke. They do this everywhere I go. When I went to the Bahamas, they talked about extraditing me. When I was in Dubai, they talked about it. When I was in Turkey, they talked about it. Now I'm in Hong Kong. It's all over the media. They're saying extradite me. Why do I never get extradited? Here I am. I'm in Hong Kong. I'm going nowhere. Come get me. We all know your judicial system's corrupt. People are awake now. After COVID, after the migrant votes, after the false elections, everybody knows that you're trying to stitch me up for telling the truth. Everybody knows I affect elections. But why do I never actually get extradited? It's because you have so little evidence. Florida tried it. DeSantis and his little girlfriend, they tried an investigation. Everyone investigates me and is bitterly disappointed. I don't do drugs like every other person on Twitter. I'm not fucking loads of endless girls like everyone else in the world. I don't go to sex parties like all you fucking weirdos. I have no homosexual skeletons in my closet. You've investigated me for 5 years, every jurisdiction, everyone, head to toe, nothing to find. All you can do is put in the news over and over again in the media, we need to extradite Andrew Tate. MPs saying, we need to get Andrew Tate. As if you don't have a failing country with knife crime, drugs, migrants. I'm your concern? I'm not even fucking there, bro. I'm in Hong Kong, and you know I'm here. So come get...
His custody conditions would also depend on an individual prison risk assessment, so claims that he would automatically be placed in solitary confinement shouldn't be treated as guaranteed. Either way, Tate's room to maneuver could be getting tighter. Even if his lawyers successfully block or delay one extradition attempt, that doesn't necessarily make the wider legal problems disappear. And relying on international connections isn't some automatic escape card either. Dubai and the UAE have cooperated in major international criminal cases involving extremely powerful figures, including alleged organized crime boss Daniel Kinahan. So having money, connections, or influential people around you doesn't guarantee protection when governments and courts start making moves. So this could be the defining moment. If Tate is ultimately extradited to the UK, he'll have to face the legal process surrounding those 59 reported charges and answer the allegations against him. The prosecution will have to prove its case, while Tate will have the opportunity to defend himself. And with this much attention surrounding the case, every development is going to be watched closely. That's going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. It helps the channel more than most people realize. And if you're new here, consider subscribing, because this is exactly the kind of content we cover regularly. I'll catch you in the next one.